Like I said, I don't talk a lot, so it's like I don't want to say a lot of stuff in my life because it's drama. I don't no, unless you like juicy drama stuff. You know.
Right here.
Hi, thanks
Hi.
very much for speaking.
Yeah, thank you.
So my question for you is, what's next for the Bear Champ?
Next, I'm actually talking. I have two writers that I'm in kind of like a really early stages. I want to do a TV show, hopefully like a pilot type of thing. So, yeah, trying to get the right person. You know, I would not stop until that I get that done. But it's like, yeah, talking to the right people, pretty much. Yeah, that's one of the things. But yeah, like branding it and take it to the next level and kind of take it to a place that I'm like either. I just want to be like completely proud of what I'm doing. A lot of people say like, well, even on the street when I'm painting, people are like, yo, the bear dude, you know, like it's like that's cool. Like I want that, but I wanted to be proud of what I'm doing too. And you know, like I kept it really consistent with the bear. I can do a lot of stuff, but the bear is something that is like cool, and it's like as an artist or whatever, a designer, you want to create something that is like a brand, you know what I mean? Like just keeps like going, and I feel like that. It's like everybody wants to do that, you know. When you do it, people like see it's like especially when I came to Chicago, like I was doing the bear, and it was like this yellow big bear, you know, and a bunch of buildings, and everybody will see it everywhere. It's like, oh my God, another fucking building, another fucking mural of like a bear. It's like, yeah, but that's consistent, and that was like not a regular people. It was like artists that didn't figure it out that you have to brand something. The artists that were saying that, it was like, they were like, then eventually it's like, hey man, can I paint with you? Or hey, can like, yeah, can you tell me, because I want to brand this character, I want to brand this thing, you know? It's like, because it's about branding more than anything too. Like you can, if that's what you want to do. You know, if you want to work for somebody else, if you want to like do stuff that is not brand something, but if you want to be like consistent and like brand something that you like want to take it to different places and have fun with it, yeah, you have to be consistent, that's it. That's what I learned myself.
The murals that we see around town, are they all commissions, or how do they come about?
Right now, pretty much all commissions, yeah. Like the ones I used to paint, whatever. Like, well, so when I started, I used to go around and see a wall, and I was like, oh, I like that wall, but like I was like really shy to ask, like, oh, can I get it or no? Or, so I started like just fuck it, you know what I mean? I just go to the owner and be like, hey, like, can I paint your wall? I have this character or whatever. And it's like, yeah, people were like, oh yeah, sure. It gets tagged all the time. I hate that brown thing, you know, whatever, because, you know, like the city buffet with brown. It gets tagged all the time. Yeah, just paint it. So I started painting like that. So there's like really good locations too. So every time, you know, like everybody's like, oh, I saw your work over here. So it was like, I don't have like 1,000 murals, but it's like they're on a specific locations, which is like everybody says, "I'll see your stuff everywhere." No, it's just like really good intersections and stuff. So,
can you talk a little bit about street art versus graffiti and the fact that graffiti is still illegal and getting materials? You know what I mean? Like in Chicago, do you feel a certain way about how the city treats graffiti artists compared to street artists?
yeah, where are you? I don't see you. Oh, okay. Are you a writer? Anybody that asks that question or something, it's like, fuck street art. Yeah. No, well, you know. So, graffiti is graffiti. You know, graffiti is like, if everybody that's doing murals, street art or whatever, it's street art. It was inspired by graffiti. Graffiti is like first, you know? So that's why when somebody tags my mural, I can get mad, because graffiti is like graffiti. It's like where everything started is what the movement is, you know, doing something illegal, doing something that is like, yeah, like, you know, go like 2 o'clock in the morning and you get excited. It's like, oh shit, I'm gonna get caught, you know? That's what I feel like graffiti is. Because I used to tag, and I actually, 4 years ago, 3 days, you know, 27, June 27, 4 years ago, I got arrested for like at 2 o'clock in the morning, like, you know, doing the illegal shit, like tagging. So it's like, yeah, so you know, when you you do stuff like that. That's I don't know. It's like, what's the difference in why graffiti is illegal, which is not. Illegal is not what you do if you do it at 2 o'clock in the morning. If you paint a wall, a commission, like I seen graffiti, people painting their name and everything. It's graffiti, but it's a legal wall, and they paint it, and it's not illegal. You know, I mean, people like it still. Like I have a bunch of like artist friends that like they go around the world and paint their name. It's a graffiti, and they actually still like make a living doing it too. I don't know if I answered your question. I just started like talking, but. Yeah. But kind of. But yeah, sorry. I just like that question is always comes, and it's like really, really hard to like talk about because it's the same. What I was talking the other day, I noticed like there's 3 guys. I saw people saying like, oh, it's 3 artists, but they only paint murals, so they're muralists. Just because their work is on the street, because they paint murals on the street, they're not. I don't think they're street artists, you know. Because street art is somebody that goes and does weed pasting, tagging, you know, like stickers and stuff like that. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. Like, just because you paint a mural on the street, I don't think it's a street artist, it's a muralist, you know? I feel. So it's like this. It's like graffiti, street art, and whatever. It's just like kind of like labels, but we all did it. Kind of like I feel at some point we all went and like I said, graffiti is not. It's not illegal. It's illegal if you do it in somebody's property at 2 o'clock in the morning, and yeah, like of course if you get caught, you're gonna go to jail. But that's it. You know what I mean? Like if you, I don't know. Did I answer? Okay, let's go. I don't know.
What is the most, if you can, I see your work all over Wicker Park and Bucktown, and what is the most dangerous or most strangest place you did your artwork or mural on?
Well, here, Little Village, because it was like actually a corner. It was like a gang. Yeah, but it was they were cool, you know, whatever. But you know, like at some point, yeah, it could be like gunshots and shit. Like so, it's like, and Puerto Rico, I painted in like a really like rough like area too. That it was like that, like somebody was like watching the whole time and everything. And it's like, and yeah, I think Barcelona too. I was painting a spot that was like that, and that's when I painted places like all in the country. I don't even know. I don't know the people. I'm like actually go with somebody else that is like, hey, can we paint here? And like, yeah, we're cool, but you know, one time I painted in Damon the Silas inside. Everybody goes there. You know, everybody takes photos or whatever. So lucky us, me and 2 other friends, we go paint in there, and then cops never go, but that day they came. You know, and then we were painting, and they were like, turn around, and I had like guns, like the back of our heads. They're like, oh, on the floor. They're like, what? Everybody paints over here. What are you know? And they're like, on the floor or whatever. And it's like, yeah. So on the ground, and they're just like looking for all IDs and everything. And I was so nervous, you know. I'm like, dude, it's like, yeah, it's trespassing or whatever. I'm like, okay, dude. It's like, well, you're not a kid, so, oh, you're like fucking 30 years old. What the fuck are you doing painting here? You know, it's like, so it's like, okay, yeah. So, you know, like stuff like that. Like, I don't know if the cops are gonna be like, and you know, shoot me or whatever. You know, so it's like, don't run. And I'm like, I'm not gonna run. So I was on the ground or whatever, and it's like, oh, you're cool. It's like, oh, you're just fucking with you. You're just bored. I don't have nothing else to do. Yeah. So.
I ask one more question.
Mm-hmm.
As far as your bear family, do you have plans to extend the family?
For the Bears?
Yeah, like Bear Jr., Bear.
Oh yeah.
Bear Superboy.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah, probably. Like I said, yeah, like I'm focusing like the Bear right now, but because I'm writing the TV show, I have more characters for that, you know. Right, cool. But like painting is hard because it's like if you like I went to some phases where people were like that, like, oh, do you have any more characters? Can you do something else or whatever? But it's hard because it's like if I do that, then it's like it goes a different way, and then like I just wanted to keep it really consistent, like really like branding, like something that it was like kind of like, yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Hi.
So from my super brief understanding of, Chicago urban art and street art, you have, your kind of old school art, your old school artists, graffiti artists who are very purist, don't want to sell their art, they're doing it for the neighborhood. And then you have like this other half of new school artists who are coming in and putting on their Instagram handle and marketing themselves and selling themselves and doing commission work. Do you ever find like yourself clashing with that old school mentality community, or is it more of a collaboration understanding?
Yeah, actually all the time. Like everybody always, like I said like before, like there's artists I used to, when I there's like 1 year that I painted like a lot of murals. Like a lot of them are still up. That year I was featuring like a bunch of stuff and everything. So all those old school artists will come to me and like, like, what are you doing? Like, you doing this like too much or whatever. Like, and then so the old school thing, it's like that. It's like, oh, we do it for the arts. We do it for whatever. You do it for the Instagram. You do it for the follows. Or you do it for whatever. No, it's some of the people that just like, fuck. In my opinion, I'm like, no. Like some of them, it's like wanted to do it, but they feel like they missed their chance. So they come and like it's like, oh, we do it for the community. I'll do it for the community too. And like I paint Rush. I'm painting Rush, like the hospital. I'm painting like a bunch of places, and I paint for free too all the time. I do it for the community. I'm not like about to like, oh, every time I paint something, I want to make money, like, or whatever. Like I collaborate with people. I pass on like gigs that I don't feel like they fit me, and I give it to somebody else. There's a way to I feel there's a way to that you can still make a living doing it, because we all want to do it. Everybody wants to make a living doing something that they love. And so there's a way to do that without feeling like you're selling out, And I don't feel like I'm selling out. I'm making a living doing what I love to do. And there's like old school artists, they're like, yeah, like that. Like they're like, oh, you're selling out. I'm like, no, man, I'm just figuring something out that you didn't figure it out when you were in your prime,
Dude, thanks. I really appreciate your art.
What's up, JC?
Yo, what's up? Hey, what's up, man?
What's up? That's a good segue, because I got to ask about business stuff, right? And you don't have to get into the numbers, but I'm curious because this you're in a room with a lot of designers who do client work, and there's like standard practices for pricing and so on, right? But in the world of art and murals, it's not always so consistent. It's not like, it's not a set rate. So I'm curious, you don't have to get into numbers, but like, how do you price? How do you figure that out for like a large mural versus anything else?
Well, yeah, so I started, whatever you give me, or for free, or whatever, So then when you start working with companies that they have the budget, or that they have money, and they come in like, hey, can you do this for exposure, or can you do this for whatever? Then you're like, no, hold on, I know you spend like $100,000 in this event, and then you want me to do a live painting for free? Nah, no. So or a mural, they always. So I was all over the place, and then I pretty much work with Sheila. She's right there. She's my manager. Yeah. So she helped me a lot setting up prices and stuff, which is like, well, square footage, how much detail, And then every time I always ask. And every time she's like, send me like, oh, what do you want to do? I'm like, what's their budget? If it's like, if it's a gig that they like, I'm like, what's their budget? Like, that's the first question, like, because then if they're serious about it, then and because like, what's their budget? Like, oh, I don't know, whatever you charge or whatever. And then you say like, yeah, $100,000. And they're like, oh no, we're gonna pay that. So it's like, what's their budget? It's like, her mind is like, they're actually just looking fishing or whatever, or just like they really want you to do something for them. Because there's a lot of companies out there that like reach out to you and you feel special, but no, they reach out to like 10 or more artists, and they just want to get the cheapest one, and that's it, But so when people come and it's like, I love your work or whatever, it's like, what's your budget? And then like, okay, it's this much. This is what we got. This is what can we work on or whatever, and you can like figure it out like, okay, I can do this much for you, I can do less or whatever, stuff like that. So, but it's a learning process. Like I said, I did a lot of stuff for exposure. That like, man, I would have been a millionaire right now.
Hello. The bear is such an interesting character and kind of epitomizes survival. So how much of the bear is you? How much of this is really kind of a self-portrait?
Pretty much everything, I feel. At this point, yes. Because with the bear, I use roll with the punches, which is like the tagline, kind of. So it's like, yeah, like, fuck, you go through life and you like, every day you wake up and you're like, whoa, I just gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta try to survive, pretty much. Like, just roll with the punches. Like, every day is something different. Especially as like, whoever knows that it's like, you're a freelancer or independent artist or whatever, like, every day is different. And you gotta like figure out the ways so you can, okay, make money or survive, How can I get paid everything and still, doing this?
I mean, I think that's why the bear kind of resonates. I mean, it looks like a bear you can relate to. This isn't a normal cartoon bear. This is a bear that's seen life and
That's
is a
cool.
champ, which is really quite delightful.
Thank you.
You kind of touched on this, but I think we all kind of struggle with, we're doing the same thing daily, as creatives, and so how do we like keep that fresh? If we're a wedding photographer, where we keep shooting these new weddings, or if we're a designer, we have to design for certain things, but so you've got this character, how do you keep it fresh? How do you keep yourself creatively inspired and fresh while you're doing the same thing and staying consistent with your branding?
So I do the bear, and sometimes I'm like, I do stuff, well, like I have different clients that want the same thing or whatever. So when I feel that I'm like, oh man, like I need to do something different, I draw a completely different thing, or I paint like on oil and canvas, and I do like different characters. Like I don't show it, I don't post it out there, but it's for me pretty much. Like it's just kind of like for me to be like, okay, like kind of like balance me, like I just, okay, I know, because sometimes it's like so much, like I'm always doing something, I'm always like painting, I'm doing so much, like the bear is always in my head, So at one point it's like, okay, like I gotta check myself and be like, okay, I can also do all this stuff, or like, and that's pretty much how I deal with, go for like a bike ride.
Totally, so that's just side time, your personal time, doing on the side doesn't have to be shared, but just something to keep.
Yeah, exactly. I never share, like, I do a lot of stuff like that, like, sketches or whatever. Probably in the future I will, but yeah, like I want to do a show with some stuff that I'm working on, but like not as like, like not the bear, So, so that's what I do. I kind of like work on some different stuff and different like, not as like tight, like, and more loose and whatever, kind of playing around and like improvising kind of. That's what I do. So. Oh, I have a show actually July 22nd, the West Loop. So it's gonna be in the warehouse, big show. So yeah, I'll put it on Instagram.
Thanks for the